Hold on to your butts.
Don't move, you're surrounded by armed bastards.
What are we going to do?
Well, I say let's get out there and twat it.
Hello, welcome back to the Carry Night Podcast. I'm Jake,
I'm James.
And I'm Rob.
and we have a very special episode lined up here. Special in the sense that it is the second time we have a guest on the show. A special guest, a very special guest. The sexiest of special guests. But before we get into that, I'd like to invite you to grab a drink, make yourself comfortable, and enjoy the discussion. So, on to our special guest.
You didn't sing the intro.
We don't sing the intro.
Is that not live?
Don't move! You're surrounded by armed bastards! There you go. As close as you get in.
What are we going to do? Do you know what that sounds like? It's you! Does everyone actually think that's
Yes,
me?
I asked Vicky.
It
Vicky
really,
even thinks it's you.
It really does sound like you. Anyway, our special guest is none other than my little brother. It's Sam. He's not little, but here we go.
Hello.
Sam, introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about yourself. A list
What's
of
your name?
likes,
What's your name and where'd you come
likes,
from?
dislikes, and maybe a list of turn-ons.
I'm Sam.
Well, that's good. Thank you for joining us.
Well,
We've
you know
been Carry
what?
Night. Good night.
Can I say what an honour it is to be on this world famous, world renowned, honestly. Just to be among these three titans of the podcasting industry.
I mean, we have
You know.
reached America, I'm just saying.
Yes.
You know what I love is it's so accessible as well. You're three men, white men, thundering towards your midlives.
Thundering, he's past it. He's on old age now, this one. Here we go, get the
And
old
you're
person
just,
joking early.
you're just on them white topics, and I find that really comforting. You know, it's wrestling, the rising cost of hummus, everything I need to know is the
That's
real
not coming
hard
out
hitting.
yet.
Oh, sorry, spoilers.
So giving away as future episode topics. What's the idea for today's episode then, Sam? A special guest you are going to be telling us about today.
Well, what I thought is, you told me to keep it light,
Mostly light.
so I thought we'll have the quickest look through World War II
Okay.
and the Holocaust. And if we've got time, we'll touch on Israel. If we've got time.
What, like sorting it out? I think we're going to try and bash out the peace process.
Well,
or we're just talking about the history.
You know, this we're four smart.
Whites.
White. You know, I'm sure we can get our heads together
Yeah,
and
we
suss it out. Or we could just shoot the shit.
Shoot the shit with Sam. That's what I want to do.
It's a good title. It's a good title for an episode.
Yeah, so you always come on and you've always got a subject. You've got a topic. You know what you're going to talk about. Don't do that. Just how are you?
I'm good, all things considered, which is a very British way of saying things.
Cracking, we're thundering through this podcast. How are you, Jake?
I'm delightful. Now that we're recording and we've got our second special guest, I'm happy.
I don't like the term special guest. What are you implying?
I mean, luckily it's not visually recorded. This podcast as well. If it were, everybody would know exactly what I meant.
Rob, how are you doing?
I'm alright. I'm a little bit tired. I've been to a baby fair today, but I'm alright.
A fair for babies, or
Selling
a fair
baby
that you
clothes.
buy babies?
No, see, now I was thinking of babies that you put on little Ferris wheels and put on little teacups. And
There were some babies there, but I don't think they were being sold. Maybe they were, but I don't think they were. Could have been. Who knows? I didn't try and buy it.
Weren't BBC then?
No.
No, Jimmy's dead. We're all right.
We're free now.
You're free. We're safe now. It's fine.
No, I'm going to ask how I am.
How are you doing, Sam?
Oh, too late. What are you drinking? What's everyone drinking? What you got, Rob?
Well, I think me and Jake are,
We've
apart from looking alike some of the time, we also drink like book up Magners.
Yeah,
there's £10 Asda, 18 cans. It's a cracking bargain.
I had to buy two.
It's not bad at all, is it? It's all right, that, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm still on the glorious red leg.
Oh, you're doing it right.
Oh, I couldn't tell if that was disapproval then. It was
No,
you who got me onto red leg.
It were immense pleasure.
Where did you first? Because you introduced me to red leg. Was it from Mitchell's Wines? A bit away. Is that what
That's
you
what our Harvard's.
Where I got O'Hara's from.
Yeah,
that's
one
the
of the
one.
that stocks it now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can still get it up there, but this is a bit regional, innit? No one else is going to know.
O'Hara's
The
is
listener.
a Sheffield-based rum distillery.
Yeah,
Distillers.
That famous Jamaican Sheffield connection for rum.
And did he own Cremorne down on London Road?
He did own Cremorne. Oh, still does, as far as I know.
Where'd he stop? Because O'Hara's were good.
No, he's not stopped, apparently. It was some sort of, as far as I'm aware, some sort of legal dispute between a few people, which is why it was not stopped but scaled down production, but now apparently that's all sorted, so it should be getting more readily available again soon. Apparently, according to someone I've talked to.
Social media.
No, someone I've talked to who I won't say the name on.
Can I vape in here?
You can vape in here.
Cool.
We
thank
don't
you.
have
I
any.
felt-
We don't have any sensors in here. I mean, there's enough, as you can see, there's enough. She burns fucking incense in here, so I won't really worry about
Oh,
it.
you're fine then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't really
That's it. Red Leg's, top tier, S tier. Rum. Morgan's is like a solid B. You're not going to get upset by that.
No. I mean,
It's good for you every day.
why do you think? Why do you think Red Leg goes into the wonderful decanter?
Is
you
that
see?
crystal?
Probably.
Jake, is this crystal? You bought it.
I bought it from a charity shop.
So no,
It's
It's
plastic.
a
no, that's my whiskey decanter.
That's a ship's decanter, isn't it? That
It is. In fact, actually, no, you didn't buy this one because a tragic.
One?
Yes, not long after we moved into this house,
I don't like the way you handle the neck of that.
I did.
Oh, good thing it's not visual. No, so yeah, not long after we moved into this house, we got a glass cabinet in the kitchen. I put all the drinks in there because that's what you do with glass cabinets.
Glass
you put,
cabinet, yeah.
You put drinks in there.
Look
And then-
at how much of an alcoholic I am.
Yes. Well, surely if you were an alcoholic, it would be empty.
Not if you're classy about it. You fill the cabinet and then buy more to drink.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Display and non-display.
Yeah.
Or piss in the bottles when you finish.
This year's for looking, this year's for drinking.
We were watching a film, and one night we just heard this humongous crash. Went in the cupboard had collapsed, which is a shame. And that's when we also realised how stupid it is to people who owned this house before us to put carpet in the kitchen. Who carpets their kitchen? So all the rum soaked into there. So and unfortunately, the original decanter smashed, and I searched high and low to find an exact replica. Which I did.
Not much call for ship canteens these days, is
Especially in Sheffield, where we're the most inland you can be in this country. But yeah, so it is a glorious
Are
beast.
you a rum person? I always forget.
Yeah.
Do you have a?
The rum. I've never really tried much because the only rum drink I generally have is what I got from the Old Sportsman, the Burning Heart.
Is that what you made me drink on my steak do?
Which is a shot of rum, shot of apple juice, and then topped off with lemonade. It tastes like cold cubes. It is fucking immense. So it doesn't really matter what rum you have. So I haven't got a specific type because
Your rum is always a mixed with.
It doesn't matter really.
But you got to be
Rum's
careful.
a mixer too. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, you got to be careful though, because you just say someone rum. Most people will go for something like Bacardi,
A white rum.
a white rum, or they'll go for a navy rum.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is completely different to the rum because I won't touch them.
It's all about spiced rum.
It is
Yeah, I think
definitely
for me,
spice.
out of the three, dark rum for me is the worst one. I'd rather have white rum and then.
Well, white rum is definitely
I do like golden rum, non-spiced golden rum.
Oh yeah, like proper Caribbean rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stuff that you had, that
A Havana Club Especial. 12 year.
that one's nice.
It's good shit.
That one is good.
That
Is
one
that
was
your like top tier then? Or?
Yeah, probably.
Because that's one that you had when you were drinking in somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar.
Sounds
Sounds like me.
You were
That's
drinking
the place I go to.
Do you have a spirit of choice then? Obviously rum for you two because that's what you drink more of. But
Yeah,
I definitely have a spirit of
Intelligent
choice.
ones.
Yeah.
oh, it's Southern Comfort for you.
It is Southern Comfort indeed.
That's my favourite rum.
Yeah.
Bit of backstory. I've always complained about can you set places like Sheffield's bar is shit. The
Other ice rink bars are available.
So we were going out after one at hockey games we went to, and we went to the bar, and I said, "Do you have any rums?" And bless her, I don't think she were all there. She went, "We've got Southern Comfort." And me and Dana, a friend of mine, looked at each other and went, "Yeah, that'll do." Two of them, and so now Southern Comfort is a rum.
Okay.
In
Well,
the
in
eyes
that
of
case,
Sheffield
then
City
yes,
Council.
I am a rum drinker.
Rum is Southern Comfort. Yeah.
Also, again with lemonade. I have Southern Comfort lemonade.
What about you, Jake? Spirit?
Yeah,
What's spirit?
Yeah, I think as a general session drink, it'd be rum. If I was on shows, it'd be rum. Absolutely.
Sort of non-discriminatory though. You'll give out a go.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try anything. I'm not overly fussed about gins. I'll try them.
I can fuck with gin.
Occasionally. I liked that Beefeater pink. That were nice.
Yeah, beef. Yeah.
Sounds an awful like you. I like the Beefeater's pink, I do.
But I think as an absolute like the pinnacle of spirits for me, and I know I'm absolutely going to be on my own here, but tequila. I love tequila.
Yeah, we didn't. When see, we think we're all clever when we go out on a night out, and
not when I go on a night with you. I don't think I'm sorry.
well, we think,
You
let's
do
get
after several drinks.
let's get some shots.
No one has to drive home.
Let's get some shots. That'd be a great idea. Us lot, all idiots, thinking sours, something like that, corkies, something not too hard going.
Hell, corkies.
I know. I don't know if they'd even make that
Corkies.
anymore.
But the corkies still exist.
Apple sours, yeah.
But yeah, apple sour stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I said to Jake, "Here's some money. Go get some shots in." And he comes back with 2 trays of half-pint glasses, about a third full maybe, with tequila in them.
Jesus.
And it were only me and Lindsay that drank them.
And me.
We soon put you in a taxi then.
I very quickly was placed in a taxi. Yeah. I thought, joke was on me in the end. Yeah, I had to be helped.
So,
First time I've ever needed helping into a taxi home.
So, just some sours or something. Keep it a bit fancy.
Keep
it light.
Keep it light. Keep it.
Yeah, it's also a very funny, similar story to James's stag do.
Yeah, that was your fault. No?
First time I met Sam, we carried on drinking. You pretty much stopped. You tried to keep up, but you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I know when to go, no, I'm not playing keep up because it's stupid. And he'll go, no, I can do this.
And again, you did very well at Bloodstock on the night. The next morning was a different story.
Although it's not as bad as when I went out a night out with you, Sam. You said, "Oh, come to court with me," and everyone from I think were you still at college at the time? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah. You've been to court a few times.
I don't remember your stag do.
I said, to be fair, I don't.
Was that in York?
in
That
court.
was in court. That was
Was
his
it in
stag.
court?
That was your break.
Was that? Oh, no.
York was Jake's stag do. Mine was just in
Were
court.
it? Who?
Who's it? Jake is your brother.
Tom. Tom was
Oh
there.
yeah, Tom were there. Yeah, I remember Tom.
Didn't I always
Are
break
you-
your fingers storming Clifford's Tower?
I think you did break his fingers. Tower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now you remember it.
Because
Okay,
we
now
were
we need
doing
more
the,
background on this one.
See, now this is why I wanted to do a podcast with you guys that were informal and not on subject, because, and it annoyed me because you talked, last one I listened to, what, Ghost one, and you went, blah, 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 and also it was great when we saw Ghost, and also I was dressed as a nun, and that was it. That was all that were mentioned on it.
I know, because sometimes you just leave people in mystery, in the
No
mystery.
context.
No,
Yeah,
no
no
context
The lack
is
of
good.
context makes it
No,
better.
Leave
I
them
want to
wanting
know.
more.
I want to know about the nun, James.
Were you there?
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. The listener wasn't there.
Well, whose fault is that?
Now that week you were the listener, so you were there.
Well, yeah. See, Nias, am I in a podcast or on a podcast?
On.
You are on a
Once it's released, you have appeared in a podcast. But as it stands now, at the
Get
time
your
of
IMDb
recording,
page.
you're on a podcast.
I want to see how many degrees of Kevin Bacon I am. Right, so,
Yes, because if you appear, you appear on a radio show.
But
You
you're
appear on a podcast.
But
yeah.
you're in a film. Are you on a film before it's released?
You're
working
on
on
the
set.
You're on set.
You are working on a film.
It's all confusing, isn't it?
So anyway, Clifford's Tower.
Yeah.
Well, no, the original point before that was going back to why it's a bad idea to go drinking with Sam.
Okay,
'Cause
let's
we'll go through.
We'll get to Clifford's
No,
Tower
we'll get to
later.
Clifford's Tower. No, you said come.
And then the nun.
Yeah, then the nun. and then he said come.
And then the
come.
disturbing butterfly.
No, that will
Yes.
no. The stone butterfly will never get. That'll never get.
I need
Today's
to
the-
know this.
No, no,
though. I
no.
don't know about the disturbing
Today's
butterfly.
No, you were definitely you were there for the disturbing.
I
Butterfly.
don't know about the disturbing butterfly. I want to know.
No, that would be that. Nor will only because you never explained at my wedding about punching a woman in the arm. At my wedding, you left the entire room.
Oh, we've heard
You
this
were a
one.
female, a woman beater.
Well, and the disturbing butterfly was also mentioned during that.
I missed the speeches at your wedding.
Oh, it's all right.
I was
Don't
hiding
do
in
this.
bar.
We've got them all recorded. We could watch them all
See,
tonight.
your wedding
Why
was
is it a
great
bad
and it were a
idea?
lovely room, but there weren't a bar in there.
No, that's why I had table service.
Yeah, but I was sat by the bar and they had my card.
They took it off him for safekeeping. Anyway, why is it a bad idea to
So,
do tangents back in the room?
This
Let's go.
this episode is sponsored by Ross Noble. So you said, come out drinking with me, and we're going to Cork tonight. I went, well, I can't. A, I've got to be up early in the morning, so I've got my car. And B, I don't have any money. He went, oh no, it's all right. I'll get you a couple of drinks. I went, oh, that's fine. Okay, if you're happy doing that, that's fine. I'll pay my way in because I think if you got in before Cork, was it 11? It's a quid or something stupid like that, or it used to be. Now, and then you went, here's a drink. Here's a drink. These are singles, Sam. Yeah, these are singles. Here's a drink.
There's your first mistake.
No, they weren't. They
weren't singles.
They were quadvods.
Yes. Oh, I know.
They're not allowed to serve them anymore.
No, they're not. So yeah, I didn't know. So I went, after a couple of hours of this, I went, I am going to have to go home. I can't walk, and my car is in that car park. And I do not recommend this, listeners, to anyone, but that is the only time I've driven home when I really shouldn't have. And I had to drive home from Cork, and I lived in Millhouses at the time. I was literally driving home like a dog. I had the window down, and my head sticking out of it, going, I need to sober up! Yeah! If a policeman had gone the other way, he'd have gone, well, he's fucking drunk. It's a miracle, didn't it?
I imagine you driving up on the side of the road, you're a cop or in car, and you see a car coming up the road with someone leaning out of the window, screaming, "Don't look at me!"
I'm fine. I'm not drunk.
Nothing to see here, officer! No!
Screaming at existential terror. Existential terror. Rather.
No, exponential. It's getting faster and faster. So yes, drinking with Sam's a bad.
I don't remember that.
I mean,
James will remember much of it.
to be fair, I think that must be 10 years ago.
It's got to be.
That must be 10 years ago.
Well, we're still going to Corp, so it's at least a decade.
Yeah, we were going to Corp unironically at that point, weren't we?
It was because Corp was good back then.
Although I think the new room had opened, so that will date it.
Yeah, you were saying that the new room is now good.
Yeah, that's where they play metal. It's either
What, in the White Room?
The two times I've been, the White Room has been metal or 80s.
Is that the one that's upstairs off the bar?
Yeah. It's either metal or 80s, and I can fuck with both of those things.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
Badly singing "Hungry Like the Wolf."
Clifford's Tower, I think, was the next topic after this.
Nah, man,
No,
what we're doing
Jim,
after we've
we're gonna
recorded.
Oh, right. I'm waiting for an inevitable phone call. That's what I'm waiting.
Jay, would you like to tell the Clifford's Tower story?
Yeah, Clifford's Tower is in York, and for
An ancient monument of suffering that was.
yeah.
It's a very sombre
was
place
the
to go.
location of a massacre of many Jewish peoples living in York. Yeah. So, with that nasty bit of history out of the way, for my stag do, we decided to go to York for a few days, and
Tells you a lot about his personality, doesn't it?
and James, the best man.
Hello. I was starting to wave then, but
He's waving, everybody. Wave back.
thank you.
Decided that to make the weekend a little spicy, and we've got to talk about the plant pot incident.
Absolutely.
Oh, is this the Roman Reigns
Yeah.
spear?
Oh, that's the highlight of the
It's
week.
gone down in legend.
Wait,
You
Joe
know
did
about
it?
Yeah, that was Joe. But this one's all James. He decided to.
Oh, and Sam.
Well,
I was
You were there. You were definitely
an
there.
unfortunate victim.
Victim's the word.
Decided to have what James referred to as Viking challenges, whereby if anybody was challenged over the weekend to do a certain thing, if they failed to do it, they had to wear the shirt of shame, which was
He said, I am Eric the Flaccid. I am here to disappoint all your women.
in keeping with the Viking theme.
Don't you
of
mean
won
Eric
all
the
weekend.
Legend?
James won, mustn't he? James still has it.
James does still have it in a drawer somewhere.
Anyway, after a day of drinking, whose idea was it?
Probably yours. For those who don't know, by the way, Clifford's Tower is on a hill. It's on a hill.
Like quite a sheer hill.
And surrounded, it's literally at the top of a hill surrounded by it. So it's not as if there's a flat way to get to it. It is just on top of a hill.
Yeah, it's a very, very steep hill. Yeah. It looks like if you build a sand castle and then put a castle at the top of it, that's what it's like. Anyway, somebody, I can't remember who, may have been me, said when we rounded the corner and saw Clifford's Tower lit up in all its glory,
It's somber glory.
it's somber.
About 2 a.m.
Someone shouted, "Viking challenge! Storm Clifford's Tower!" At which point, 6 of us,
Well, who was there? Us three.
us 3,
Joe,
Tom,
Sam. Joe, your Sam. Tom, and DJ. Was DJ,
DJ was
there?
there, yeah.
Sam were definitely there.
Sam was there. That was good.
I remember him being there.
And we
Broken
did.
fingers
We
and all.
set about drunkenly attempting to climb up a very slippy, grassy hill. So slippy, in fact, that James, who'd pulled out quite away in front.
I mean, when I got ahead, I didn't pull anything out. I just got ahead.
No, the dude had legs off at line.
Shockingly agile for one of his proportions.
What are you trying to fucking say?
It was it was the momentum, the initial.
Oh yeah. I wanted a good run up before I got to the base. Yeah.
But all was not to last. James made it maybe 2/3 of the way up before gravity, momentum, and God decided otherwise. And he started to lose momentum and slide rather quickly in the opposite direction. And it would have been a glorious journey back to the bottom of the hill where his descent not blocked by Sam's fingers. And as I've already mentioned, someone of James's proportions sliding over Sam's outstretched fingers. It didn't end well. I just heard a muffled cry over my left shoulder as I was peeking the. Yeah.
But the important thing to remember is I didn't lose that challenge.
You still didn't.
I still didn't lose that challenge because I lost every other challenge that I had. But that one I did. Were
it Joe just straight up went, "No, I'm not doing that."
Just stood at the bottom looking like, nah. Yeah, but Joe had just done the thing. Yeah.
Was that the same night?
It was after Slug and Lettuce.
Let us discuss the slug.
Someone else should tell this story.
So, Rob, you weren't there. You tell the story.
I weren't there. From what I've heard, from what I've been told, did you have any wrestling challenge, or was it just Joe? Joe decided just to do?
No,
Jake
challenged
You challenged him to spear a plant
to
pot.
Roman Reigns.
The Roman Reigns spear in the middle of the Slug and Lettuce.
And this is a tall plant pot.
Which he did everything, I believe.
Oh, he did.
He did the arms, the scream.
The sort of 4 or 5 metre run up, the perpendicular collision.
he was completely parallel to the floor.
Not a part of his body was touching the floor when he collided.
Did he not just get up and walk out? Like
No. He got up after he got up, stood there, and the perfect beat of silence, and just suddenly went, "Sorry, I slipped." And I just walked. I was like, "Oh, that's embarrassing, but funny thing."
James was caught in such a that bit in Red Dwarf with Crichton and he's trying to figure out ambivalence.
Yeah. Oh God,
that was James. He was taken aback by the humour of the situation, but he also wanted to die.
Oh God, it was so. It was
kept
the
walking
funniest bit
backwards and forwards towards the scene of carnage, going, "Oh!" And then he just walked out.
I can't remember who described it so beautifully to me, but when Joe made contact, like a bunch of the dirt from inside the plant pot went up into the air and gracefully floated down across a couple enjoying a lovely meal.
And had they kicked off, it wouldn't have been quite as funny a story. Well, maybe it would have been, but the fact that they were both pissing themselves laughing.
But you challenged him, Joe, Roman Reigns, that plant pot. And we all thought he was going to do it, as we were leaving. And he went, "Right, we're going to do it now." So we went, "Shit!" So we all start necking our drinks to get out before him.
See, when you talk about wrestling and you say this match is best match, and I do love a bit of Kane and all that. The best wrestling.
I don't think anyone's ever said that on this podcast.
Well, whatever, I barely listen. The best wrestling is in the real world, man. It's Joe versus Plant Pot. Bloodstock wrestling. Bloodstock wrestling
was a good one.
Is brilliant. Trying to what's that's Meathead do?
F5. You think Brock Lesnar?
That's the one, isn't it? Yeah, and trying to F5 Joe and a wasp landed on his leg and him screaming, and then me realising it's a wasp and then screaming myself.
So I was too drunk. I don't remember Bloodstock wrestling.
Do you remember the amazing table kicking over event?
Whoa! That's not what it's called. It's called the Miracle of the Surviving Run.
I do see now. Now you say it like that, I do remember.
So, has anyone else witnessed a miracle? Because I have. And let me tell you, it weren't Jesus. So, Joe, for whatever reason, decided it was time to jump through the air sideways. I think Jake and Dano had bought this rickety metal camping table that folds away.
The part of the table that you need to be sturdy was the least sturdy. The surface.
Yeah.
If you took it off the legs, it went all floppy.
I do remember that. Yeah.
It was like a ladder. It got rungs.
I've seen them. Yeah.
So I had my last rum and coke. I was out after that. And we had plastic cups, and mine were on table. Joe comes across sideways. Everything gets demolished off at table. Cups go flying, wasps are furious. And I remember sitting thinking, that's fucking funny. But I've just lost my rum. And sitting on what was left of the table, perfectly crumpled on one side, but not spilled, was my last rum and coke of the festival. It was just crumpled on one side.
Nice.
The crowds
Truly a
parted
miracle.
at that point, didn't they? And like the moon shone beautifully on that moment.
If there were a god up there, he'd have gone. That's not great for podcasts,
No.
is it?
No.
The physical humour is not great, but we'll.
No.
But it's
Just,
implied.
just go back to the Joe plant potting. I've heard like people say AJ Styles can get a good match out of a broom. Can he?
Could Joe get a good match out of a plant pot? Is that what we're saying?
I mean, did the plant pot sell it, or did it?
With the plant pot, didn't have a choice.
The plant pot was selling no matter.
Yeah, Joe works very stiff. Joe, he doesn't pull his punch.
He's not even snug. He's
No,
very
he's
stiff.
stiff, which how Joe works.
There were a bunch more challenges though, weren't there?
Yeah, I remember one. You were challenged to do a fireman's lift on a complete stranger, and I remember like sort of people taking piss saying, "Nah, he's not going to do it," and he just walked up to a random guy in Weatherspoons, lifted him up on his shoulder, turned to all of us sat watching, flashed V sign, and then put him down.
Well, that's not as that. To be fair, that's not as good as on Rob's stag do. And you know exactly which bit I'm going for, don't you? Was it Lee?
Lee.
Because we had all those cards of stuff we had to do
Can I
throughout the
suck your
weekend.
finger?
Yeah, we had all those cards that we had to try and do. And there was stuff like do a fireman's lift on someone.
Yeah.
Get
What was that? Suck a stranger's finger?
Yeah.
Ask if you can suck a
Stranger's
stranger.
We live in a different world. You
So
can't know
in
that.
this really perfect but grotty rock bar, so it was perfect. The bartender comes up to us and Lee just no qualms,
No build
no
up.
inhibitions, nothing,
foreplay.
nothing. Just goes, "Can I suck your finger?"
And she just went, without missing a beat, she just went, no.
No. And they just have not of a man dejected, not of a man going, "I failed," going, "Oh well, that's Tuesday."
Of course, we can't talk about your stag do without discussing your stag do.
My stag.
But I say, what?
Well, no, we can't talk about your stag do without discussing the Jägermeister girls and your comment when he was stood there with one on each arm. Do you remember? And he had his photo took for official thing.
Yeah.
And your response was, he wouldn't know what to do with him anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do in smoking area in Cope, and them two lasses had a picture with.
Yeah, and James's face is like. You don't want to discuss that a similar situation at my stag do involving females.
So it's the first time I've ever been in a strip club as well, and we're going to talk about.
hell! Why are you telling this story?
I've just realised what's
We're talking about stag do's.
I'm sorry, James. You're gonna have to realise that there's something hilarious about putting you next to really attractive women. There's something just fucking
This is my
hilarious
fucking
about
cabin
it.
and my fucking equipment. Why am I getting the shit ripped out of me?
So, as part of the festivities, John, who's appeared on the podcast before, arranged for a little run into a strip club. And it was my first time in a strip club. It was certainly James's first time in a strip club. Have you
No,
ever
I've
been
read-
before?
I haven't known
It was
before.
first.
Was it
Get
that
on-
obvious? It was my first time in a strip club.
Well, there's different levels
To
of.
be fair,
of-
there are two stories from this night.
Yeah, I'm going with that one first. There's three levels of strip club first timers. There's James, uncomfortable, not quite covering, stood there, rigid, with a drink very close to his chest, not making eye contact with anybody.
Pretty much
at the
looking at the
ceiling.
floor. The ceiling just. I'm not
There's-
looking anywhere.
There's
Well, no, because
me.
otherwise I get lost in another view, and I wasn't doing that.
Then there was myself, incredibly uncomfortable by the meat for sale attitude.
It was like a meat market,
It
wasn't
really
it?
was, and that made it sad. But I was overtaken by the humour of seeing James, so I was probably a bit more relaxed because I found it funny. And then there was Rob, who, to be fair, he was his stag do, so he was
in charge. He was in charge.
3 sheets at this point.
I wonder how much of this is getting edited out.
This is gold. This is not funny.
we got in there and we found out that where we'd originally thought that we were all getting a private dance, I must say I'm quite glad that didn't happen ultimately.
I will point out that our wives were disappointed we didn't, not because you didn't get a private dance, but because I didn't get a private dance. And I'm sure Jake will explain why that was so hilarious.
So when we found out that we didn't get a private dance each, we thought, right, lads, let's club together, get Rob a dance. It's his thing, whatever. And I remember, for some reason, I was the money taker in this one.
You must have somehow been the most sober, and I don't get how.
I don't know. It happens occasionally.
This is genius.
I think Rosses have got a good way of being seen that way.
Incredibly pissed, but we don't quite look it. Except when we do.
I don't know.
In which case we look very pissed.
Joe, when he's pissed, looks very pissed. Joe normally has that look in his eyes of everything's trying to start a fight with him when he's pissed. Everything, and you won't see this on the podcast, but Kevin goes.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, I'd been singled out as the coin collector for this particular whip round, and everybody did give me enough money. It was £10 for a private dance, was it, or a naughty dance or something like that? And I got a handful of shrapnel.
It was literally shrapnel as well, wasn't it?
I was literally about to approach this
There you go.
scantily clad lady, at which point John went, Come here, you can't handle the shrapnel. And he changed it into a tenner. Anyway, at which point I turned to Rob and said, okay, which one do you like?
Which one?
Which one do you want? And he was
It's your birthday, big boy, which one are you going for?
Sort of rubbing his hands together, like talking to John, and he went, I'm not bothered, I don't mind any, I don't care like that. So I beckoned this lady over, and I said,
Jake, not that one.
beckoned this lady over and said, my friend here is on his stag do, I would like to begin the transaction for your services. At which point he came barreling past me, literally bodied me out of the way, pointed over this lady's shoulder to somebody else and went, that one, I want that one. At which point I had to slowly slide the £10 note out of this lady's hand and say, I'm sorry, he's picked her face was a picture, not quite as much as James's face, but
Jesus.
so anyway, Rob went off for his
3 second lap dance.
3 second lap dance. Yeah,
Oh, that's a shame, Rob. You know, you can get pills nowadays.
it's a problem that most men have.
You know, it's fine. You just got to dong, dong, dong.
dong, dong, dong. It's a great advert. If you know, you know. So yeah, while Rob was in the back room getting his dance, the rest of us stood around drinking and waiting for the conclusion of the services.
You make it sound seedier than it is.
Well, I mean,
I don't think anything you describe make it less seedy than it was.
So while we were stood around
concluded the transaction.
drinking and waiting, what I can only describe as an Amazonian got a hold of James.
Oh Christ, it was horrible.
And the cutest thing is she got hold of him by the bow tie that his wife had made him. And she was pulling him. And I turned around at this point and I just heard her, Jake, help. And I turned around and there's this 18-foot tall Amazonian and got him by collar. And it was at the point that she lifted her knee up to his crotch area. And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't think he's interested. At which point he disappeared to toilets.
But they didn't pick on anyone else. They didn't
Yeah.
go
Sorry,
Didn't go to John, didn't go to Kev, didn't go to Lee. Just me.
You could smell blood. That's what it was.
I was wearing a bow tie. We were all wearing horrendous suits.
Yeah, James
So I didn't just rock up to a strip club going, best put my bow tie on.
I could have said that's what makes the story. She grabbed him by his bow tie.
Oh, bless her. We got outside and it was just I was in stitches. I was wetting myself.
That was seriously one of the most awkward.
It
And
was horrendous,
all this took place in maybe 15 minutes.
We were in there for all the 15 minutes before we went back to the rock bar where Lee had propositioned barmaid.
Yeah. Swan.
Swan.
Well,
If you're ever in Liverpool, Swan.
Swan is a
Oh, yeah.
great place to go.
Yes, yeah.
Fucking hell.
So, I think it's only fair that we move on to the butterfly.
We're not.
Disturbing
That will forever
butterfly.
be a mystery to the listeners. That will never
Private moment between
Unless you
myself
pay
and
for
Jake.
Patreon.
that will never be revealed. All I'll say, it was a sensual moment between me and Jake, and one.
See an ad for that.
Oh,
Good.
and one that Jake wishes he could forget. That's just.
I still think about it. I still wake up at night.
It's there in the shadows, looking at me.
So, if I ever did start my own podcast, I think I'd have to do the whole thing in like a 1950s newscaster style.
Right. How?
I don't know. I'll get like an old mic and talk about old stuff.
So I get someone rumpling like
Yeah,
paper
yeah,
underneath
yeah,
that
yeah.
for the crackling sound.
And then occasionally there'll be ad breaks where I go, make sure you smoke big red cigarettes, the smooth taste that won't let you down. You know?
It's like Fallout, isn't it?
Is there any?
There's no cigarette ads in Fallout, but like the sort of music I would imagine is.
I just got
Yeah,
Grand
maybe.
Theft Auto with a like coming over a radio type thing that I don't think I've ever laughed as much on a podcast.
It's all at James's expense as well.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that.
It's
Yeah,
such a good story. I don't know why we never thought of having that as part of the
because it never naturally came up. That's what. You know,
And now it will naturally come up every episode.
Well, I think in interest of fairness, what's your two's most embarrassing moment? But it's also funny because, you know, keep it light.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you recall an embarrassing moment for me? I wouldn't say I've ever been embarrassed drinking wise because that comes with the territory, doesn't it? You drink, embarrassing things happen. So I don't feel bad in that respect. Like the morning after your stag do when I drove. When I
you should
shouldn't
not.
have
You should
drove.
not have driven that day.
Yeah.
You should not have driven that day.
You were green, weren't you?
Threw up on the grey.
Grey.
Threw up on this wall art here many times. Haley thought I was dead.
We did. To be fair, you came in and smelt acrylic because he was getting the nails done. So you came and just smelt that burning plastic acrylic.
I'm
It
going
was
to be sick
horrible.
again.
To be fair, I'm gonna be sick.
No, I remember an occasion.
I mean, technically, you just told my embarrassing story. No, not that one. That one would have done it.
Oh, that poor woman's face there. No, I think mine goes back to like sort of school days. I remember we were on a school frame and some of the bigger boys had got hold of me while I was on the top, held my legs, but then pulled
Is this
my trousers.
something for a therapist?
Oh God, I forgot that happened. Pulled my trousers down, but I was upside down because they were holding my legs. So I was upside down with my trousers pulled up, with my pale white teenage bottom on show for.
Yeah, it feels like we shouldn't be doing it until we went to this podcast.
But I wouldn't mind. But all the teachers were sat in the cafe right there, and they could all see it. Moving on from my repressed memories. I pissed myself when I was waiting to go.
Well,
on
just
the
now.
bus. I did it again, James. No, I again at school waiting for the bus home, and I've always been good at holding it, but for whatever reason it just weren't happening. I didn't want to whip it out and pee against a wall because I thought that would be embarrassing. So I pissed myself and then got on the bus.
Because that was less embarrassing.
Nobody noticed.
Well, nobody.
Well, the
Wants,
person who sat in my seat after I probably noticed.
nobody. Oh, if we're talking about that, nobody once noticed. I went to see Iron Maiden at a venue that shall not be disclosed because I may want to go back there at some point. And we'd gone. I took my cousin, and he pretended he wanted the toilet. He was waiting in queue, and I'm like, I can't wait long.
I heard the story.
I'm gonna piss myself. So I walked down the queue, and there was a bin there. So I'm stood looking at this queue while I'm pissing in bin.
For some reason, I imagine it a wheelie bin and you like perched on top of it.
Like a gnome.
Easy. You've done that quite recently as well.
Yes, I've done quite a lot to be fair.
That's why you wear your poncho at a festival.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that picture of you.
Oh, Man of Half.
Is that who?
It's when Man of Half were on at the time. At download. Yeah, so the picture of me and was it me, John?
There's a group of you.
Yeah, there's a fair few of us. And if you look at my face, I am extremely happy. And everybody goes, "Why are you so happy?" Because I was literally having a piss in my cup at the same time.
Underneath your big poncho.
Underneath my poncho. Yep.
Well, you know, my next thing I was going to bring up were, you know, what's your funny festival stories? And that kind of ties on nicely.
Just to be fair.
Good opener, good opener.
Pissing in a cup, standard.
Standard festival practice.
We've covered the miracle, Rob. You were a nun.
I was a nun at a festival. Yes, I was a nun at a festival. You all bought me the costume for my my stag
stag
do.
do, yeah.
Well, it was kind of like it was a sort of a pre-stag do, about a year before the wedding, so it was kind of like a pre-stag do type thing.
Yeah, because it was Bloodstock 17, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was about a year before.
I had an option when I got into Smithies that day. When I got into Rocky Horrors, on one side of the shelf was nun costume. On this side of the shelf was sexy nun costume. There was no contest. The only difference between the two was one was about 6 inches shorter.
Oh, it has got little lacy bits on the side. I think little tassels on the side. Yeah. Still got
You
the
rocked that. You rocked that.
And I've still got it. It is in a drawer. I've still got the
I
nun
love that
costume.
picture when we got your face painted, just while Creator were playing. We got your face painted, and then when you were rubbing it off that night, and your eyes were still like really, really black because they'd put it on thicker. You got it all off apart from black around your
Yeah,
eyes.
I woke up the next morning and I still had most of the makeup on. Yeah.
So you'd actually turned into Cardinal before Cardinal
yeah,
appeared.
yeah. Yeah.
Ah, dear.
Funny festival stories. You know that Bill Bailey,
Yeah.
drugs. Sorry, words. Use your words, yeah. When
Bill Bailey and drugs, I'm in.
Tell me more. It's not as good as that.
Oh.
A massive letdown. No, when we were setting up camp at Sonosphere and there were them signs up all the way around saying undercover police officers patrol this area.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And someone pointed this sign out, and as we all looked, a man wearing nothing but a leather thong and a gimp mask walked past. We were like, oh, well,
They're getting to the swing of things around here, aren't they?
don't get more undercover than that.
I think you did see me at Sonosphere. What about your Mastodon falling asleep? Oh,
Falling
he's
asleep.
still on.
Falling asleep during Mastodon. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Because when were they out? Who were they sandwiched between?
They were just before
Well,
or
it's
just
from
after
Partway and
Motorhead.
Motorhead.
So they're after part way and just full Motorhead, right? Okay.
Yeah, so they'd have, well, to be fair, it'd have been
Oh, because they were flip flopping between the other stage, weren't they? Yeah.
In Flames, maybe?
No, I think we saw them. I think first band we
Or
saw when we
Airborne.
went to Arena that day were Parkway.
In Flames are so good.
No, because it didn't.
They just played at Leadmill, aren't they?
I was there.
Oh, yeah.
Were they
They
good?
were, they were fucking incredible.
Who supported? Was it just?
It was a tiny little woman who came out to pop music that we were all a bit worried about. But then she started singing and it was like Ginger. Like, holy shit, this is...
They played Bloodstock.
What are they called?
Last time we went.
What are they called?
I forget.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Proper heavy.
Well, look. Well, the post last time when
They were on New Blood stage.
Oh.
Yeah, they
The
were.
New Bloods. They don't put the New Blood stuff.
My eyesight's not good enough for that.
Oh, they don't put New Blood on the posters anyway.
Yeah, the Mastodon incident. Yeah, he did. What's the term? All took it out.
All took it out, as you say. Yeah.
It was first day, weren't it?
No, third. It was Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, so you were definitely tired by that point. And we decided to go and see Motorhead because it's Motorhead. I suppose everyone's got to see him at once, haven't they? And it's the only time I saw him.
You said time I saw him actually.
They were alright. I liked that song that they played that sounded like Ace of Spades and Ace of Spades. But yeah, so before they came on, Mastodon were on, and James had just polished off a bag of 10 sugared ring donuts, which he
Sugar Crash.
he refused to share. Not that I'm bitter about it to this day. He didn't offer a single one to anyone else. And this is incidentally, I might add, another one of those occasions where James was stood there looking, going, I might get some donuts. I'm going to get some donuts. And I'm just going, okay, go and get some donuts then. Go on. You're on holiday. Enjoy yourself. And he got his donuts and he was there merrily eating them, not
I
sharing.
imagine covered in sugar.
Yeah, sugar
Around
crystals were all over his face. And it created a beautiful image because shortly afterwards he fell asleep in the grass. And he was just there, content, crumpled bag in his hand, sugar crystals all over his face. And he sort of, as Mastodon were progressing through their set, very slowly and in a very boring fashion, sat bolt upright and went, scared shit out of it. We've got a turn about half time as well.
Go from laying on his back to stood upright.
Stood upright, and he went, are these bastards still on? He was all ready for Motorhead.
I was there ready for Mastodon to be finished.
No, but Joe made me laugh though at Bloodstock this year when he half pint had fallen asleep in his tent, but he'd not zipped it up. And Joe was sat there drinking, and all of a sudden he went, like that. He said as the wind blew the flap, he caught a glimpse of half pint. We'd only got his trousers on at this point. He took his shirt off, asleep in his coffin, like he has a very small tent.
Very small tent. Yeah.
So flapped open to a lid with his arms across his chest like a vampire.
His tent's like a sleeping bag with a bit above your head.
With a
Yeah.
lid,
It is. Well, it's perfect for rock climbing, which is what he does, isn't it?
Was it like a movie tent type thing?
a baby tent.
Bivy tent.
When we were getting ready to go, he said we should.
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
When we were getting ready to go back into arena, he said I was going to go and wake Half Pint up, but I didn't want to get attacked by the brides of Half Pint.
Or all the bats.
Hanging up 3 sexy climber girls hanging upside down in his tent. That's the same festival that Half Pint nicknamed Joe and Rose the Disaster Crew.
Such a good nickname.
Very,
Oh,
very
really
apt
good,
nickname.
What in particular have they done to deserve that nickname?
Everything they do.
Spend time with them, right?
I know, but I was trying to remember what it was in particular that made him go disaster crew.
I think there was some card issues.
No, were
some
it the car keys?
banking issues.
They
Rose
left
have
the
lost
car
it.
keys
Yeah.
in the pocket, so they couldn't find it. So they went back to the car and then went to 10. Then
Something
went,
like that.
went to somewhere else. Oh, so it's always something.
While we're doing just a general discussion, I saw a question today that I thought, a wrestling question I thought I would pose, but I don't think it's big enough for an episode. What is the best finisher? As in, your opinion, but also looks the best and nobody very rarely kick out of it.
Anything that involves Brock Lesnar trying to jump off stuff.
Shooting star press.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's alright, he broke the fall with his face, he's fine.
Yeah, Angle rolled out of the way.
It's when Kurt Angle rolls back in like, shit, I think I should have been there for that.
Just going back to like when we were kids, the move we always did on each other were choke slams. It was iconic, really. I think.
It was, but like I said,
stunners.
Choke slams have become like a transition move now. Yeah, I'd say the Stone Cold Stunner. I'd say.
Well, for me, growing up, the 3 main wrestlers that, and Mankind, but the 3 main wrestlers that were sort of us 3 growing up were Undertaker, Stone Cold, and The Rock. So probably Chokeslam and the others.
and those other ones they
And
did.
friends.
And the weak Chokeslam that Rock does, where he just the shoulder slam, I guess.
The shoulder slam. I thought, is it Stunner or Tombstone?
Stunner.
I'd take
Rock
Stunner over Tombstone. I just think.
What?
Rock bottom.
Unless you're Vince
bottom,
on
yeah.
WrestleMania.
God, yes, what was it? So he took the Stunner as if all his bones were made out of wood, made out of sand, and just crumples into a heap. But I like Tombstone. It looks visually fantastic, but it takes so much setup.
Yeah.
A Stunner can be given instant. It
Yeah,
can come out.
it's like the RKO.
Yeah,
or,
because RKO 's-
Diamond Cutter or
yeah.
whatever, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, it is, isn't it? It's
Well, yeah, it's a cutter that he just took the bump on his arse rather than on his back.
Yeah, I just thought it would be a good episode to do, but it's not going to fill an episode.
Yeah. We'll say we just kind of hashed out in about a minute. Yeah, I think.
So the best finisher is one that looks good going through top of a cage.
So some sort of slam there, really, isn't it?
Choke slam then, yeah.
Choke slam would look good going through. Yeah, well,
But
that's
it did look good.
Unless you're Mankind, then it's horrible.
Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail, it looks great, but it's too much setup and too much reliance on your
I think-
your partner.
I think when you've got enough show about the wrestler, like there's enough.
Oh no, Bray Wyatt pulled it off because Bray Wyatt is a fantastic wrestler. But it's not as bad. But that Alberto Del Rio did it and Sasha Banks did it. Is that one when they're in the corner? So say Alberto was on the top rope and their opponent was hanging upside down, but then they'll hold themselves up on the rope so they can do a
drop
foot
the knee,
stomp.
foot stomp,
and it's
yeah.
like you can see it. You're literally sat there waiting. If you literally just drop that, let go,
You're out of the way.
You're out of the way.
Yeah.
So it just took moves like that takes so much. You can see. I mean, I know every move takes cooperation from your opponent, but it's like it takes so much cooperation. Like it just breaks the tension.
I don't know. I think the Warrior Gorilla Press, that was probably the best one because you just used to drop him. See you later, bye.
Yes, that's because he was unsafe.
I think so. If it's like the finisher has to be one would actually hurt, like realistic. If that makes sense. Them little Mexican fellas are cracking at that sort of stuff.
There's lucha dudes.
Yeah, they swing through ropes and kick people in the head, and that's cracking.
Well, the
that.
lucha stuff's more of a dance, isn't it? When
It's all
proper
set up,
lucha,
it's
you're proper
acrobatics, isn't it, really?
and properly. Well, lucha style wrestling is very different to
I don't-
American style
when
wrestling.
Rey Mysterio does that thing where he swings round rope and kicks him in the head,
6-1.
that'd hurt.
I
You're not
one
getting
that
up quick after that. Are you?
I don't think got a lot of traction was Carlitos, the back crack, whatever it was, when he got him in a hook a neck hook, and then it was like a across his own back, weren't it? Stunner type thing. That was always quite good.
I like the back stabber when they jump up onto the back and put the knees actually in the back. That looks like it'll cane. Yeah, that's always good. But again, it feels like you're taking a lot of the bump yourself on your back. While your knees digging into theirs, you're still taking a bump on your back.
You know what's a good finisher? Anything Braun Strowman does, because I think he could just snap most
Braun
people.
Strowman's best ever finisher was when he threw a chair at Roman Reigns' head. That was Braun's, but especially because it came from off camera. Roman just turned around and this chair just flies. That was the best thing Braun ever did.
In fact, my mate sent me a video of that because there was a fan video that someone took and got the whole thing, and it doesn't look funny.
It's not as funny
unless this chair just flies.
It's
onto
one of the few
screen.
times Kevin Dunn's crappy editing actually worked.
Yeah.
That was the best thing Braun ever did. Was that chair flying through the air was the best thing he ever did. That was fantastic.
I've remembered another miracle.
Oh,
It's probably a good one to finish on because we're.
yes, we're
I'm
getting
hungry. I'm hungry. I want
All right.
food.
Well, see, now it ain't worth it.
No, we're going to go with another miracle.
No, fuck it, we're done.
I just want to eat. Tell me the goddamn miracle now.
Me and you, when we shared a bedroom,
I know we were going with this one.
and we were arguing about who should turn light off. Now, let me preface this by saying I had the top bunk. It were a lot more fucking effort.
so this wasn't last week.
No, it's a couple of years ago.
All right.
Probably 15, if not 20. I were in top bunk. More effort for me to climb all the way down. He'd just come in room. He'd just come... I'm bringing this up, I'm furious. He'd just come in room and he'd shut door, didn't turn light off and got in bed, and then complained that light were on. And I remember as having this argument about who should turn light off. I'm in top bunk, it should be you. Let's be fair. Anyway, Jake eventually gave in to the argument and got up to go and turn light off, and for whatever reason I had this big bit of cardboard in my bed. I think it were originally on wall, but it had come down at some point. And,
In his anger.
In my anger, I frisbeed at him. And it bounced so perfectly off the back of his head and hit the light.
Switch the
Turned the
light
light off.
True story.
Amazing.
It's one of them that you wouldn't believe it. And we ran downstairs and told Mum and Dad, didn't we? And they didn't believe it either, but it's God's honest truth.
It were beautiful. I remember seeing you turn round furious and then seeing nothing.
Who did that? I can't see.
No, he turned round furious, then lights went off and we both just burst out laughing.
Argument over.
It's like, I couldn't argue with that. It's like, fair enough. Right. See you later. See you tomorrow. Yeah, it was good. Right, okay. It's time for food. So I'm going to say thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
For
Yeah,
this
cheers.
episode. It's certainly very different to what we normally
It
do.
is very
It's
different,
been, It's been fun.
That's me though, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's you.
you're very different.
Fun
Sam.
and
That's
different.
true.
I'm different.
And special.
Special.
So all that's left to say is you've been great. We've been Cabin Night. Good night.
Bye!